All right. Today is a first. It's the history of a concept of YSI. We've never had two guests in the same episode, so this is quite special. And honestly, the moment you hear what these two have built, you'll understand why it has been an exception. So joining us today are Olympia Cometa and Giacomo and Cerreto. Olympia is the fifth year medical student at the University of Parma who served as the president of ICOCIMS for the 2025 edition and is now a junior advisor with 2026. Giacomo is a sixth-year medical student at the same university and the organization past president. And between the two of them, they've helped build something that a lot of people quite say haven't come to the point of. And when I found out about ICOCIMS last year, 2025, I was just fascinated by the work that you have done. So ICOCIMS, for those who don't know, stands for the International Student Congress on Medical Education and Medical Sciences. It started back in 2023, born out of the group of students in Parma, Italy, basically said, nobody is building what we need, so let's just do it ourselves. We did just that. The 2025 edition just wrapped up in Parma in November, and the 2026 edition is already in the works. This time with a brand new organizational structure that UCI Special, I would talk more about it. So some of you might actually remember Olympia and Giacomo from StemQuest 3.0 back in December, where they came and talked about ICOCIMS with our community, and that session was genuinely one of the highlights, and a lot of people want a way more. So here we are. ICOCIMS is also a partner of Youth Initiative, which honestly makes this feel like a proper reunion. So it's great to have you back on for another Youth Initiative program. Olympia, Giacomo, welcome to the Crossnow YSI. Really glad that you're both here. So before I let you, tell us more about yourself. How did this come to start? Because a lot of this episode, a lot of your content, was about ICOCIMS, and before getting to know the two of you more, I want the audience who's watching this right now to get to know ICOCIMS more on what it is and how it started, everything about it. So, just tell us more about it.
So, ICOCIMS started in 2023. We started to think about that at the start of the summer of 2023, so very late compared to the fact that we had our first edition in November of the same year. And the idea came from another conference, another kind of event that we had organized the previous year, 2022, which was about emergency medicine. Emergency medicine, I don't know about the US or other parts of the world, but in Italy is a bit disregarded by most medical students because it doesn't have a great work-life balance. So with that event we organized in 2022, we wanted to show the people what the life of an EM physician actually looks like, either in Italy or also abroad, mainly in humanitarian missions and that sort of careers. And we had a fairly good success with that one. So we wanted to raise the bar a bit higher. And so what's another, let's say, underdeveloped field or something that people do not really know about? And we settled on the fact that very few students in Italy, in our university, but also in other from which we had the opportunity to compare our perspective, get involved in research activities. Surely, because this is this doesn't count that much, either for entry into residency nor for a career. If you just want to work a physician, it's of course different if you want to work at a university center or do research and maybe later become a professor. And so that's basically the idea we started with. Let's show our fellow students what doing research actually looks like, what other students in countries, places where doing research is more encouraged, also at the student stage, do, and what their lives, their careers, their medical school experiences look like. So this was the idea we based on when we created the first edition of the event.
Amazing. And so did you have more to add? Was that cool?
I wasn't there when the idea started, but I came into ICOCIMS a few months later. During the recruitment process, I applied to be part of the team, and I became part of ICOCIMS from that time. It was, I think, around September, maybe August, a bit sooner. But what I would say is that the main thing that inspired it is Aga. So the guys that became the co-founders of ICOCIMS and afterwards us that worked at ICOCIMS have realized that it was something lacking in education of medical students in Italy. And we decided to try to find a way to improve their knowledge in some way. And we're also students, so it's not that we have the knowledge. And in that way, I feel like we recognize that knowledge gap because we're students. So you have to start from what is needed in the community and then build on it.
Absolutely. That's incredible. Right? This boy, starting such a big thing, and having it in a place like Parma, which previously didn't have funding, but it's incredible what you've done and contributed to this. So now that you've given an overview of ICOCIMS, let's talk about who you both are as people. So um, outside of medical school and ICOCIMS, what does life actually look like for you? What was your upbringing like? Did you grow up in Parma? Tell us all about it.
So I believe that while I try to make it not it, but be like that, medical school after all these years has got to define me as a person, sort of. I mean, not that it defines my whole life. Of course, there's something else other than being a medical student. But how I am as a person probably has a bit changed. And I'd say that medical school had an impact on this other than being on my growth path as everyone is. Apart from this, in the few spare time I have, and I have had in these years, free from medical school commitments, ICOCIMS, and other projects, I try to cater to very different interests, like doing some sports or reading. I'm a very curious person, so it's a bit like I have many interests all at once and get to shuffle between all of these, which when you have very few time gets very difficult and means like doing a very little bit of something every week or 2 weeks at a time. So yeah, I'd say that other from defining me a bit as a person, in this year medical school really got a lot of my time, and this is probably the same for many people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very tough route to take, and it just takes so much of your time, but and it's so rewarding. Um, and Olympia, you feel that way too, tell more about you and your life.
Sorry, I didn't really understand the question, but I understood the issue. So I will answer to start from that, from my upbringing, because I'm not from Parma. I moved for university. I'm from San Marino, and I feel like what Giacomo is saying is very true, because medical school kind of has it becomes a big part of your life, the biggest part of your life, especially because becoming a doctor is such a hard and long path. But what is saving here is not making it all about medical school, because you're already surrounded with medical students all the time and think about medicine and science all the time. So learning that my life was full of other things, friendships and spending time with my dogs and going for a walk, reading a book, doing a new sport. That's what's saving. Doing new hobbies. So yeah, I feel like being a medical student is very good, but sometimes we get lost in it. And we think that it should be our whole life. But personally, I completely understand if people want to focus on that. Personally, I found that for me, what works best is trying new things apart from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a balance, medical school and other things, and so that, you're not always thinking about medical school, you're not always, you're only up on medical school, you need that balance to also not burn out. Um, so it's great
Yes,
that you
exactly.
do. Now,
Yeah.
Giacomo, you were president before, so I can say that Olympia, you had the role last year in the 2025 budget. So essentially, Giacomo, you handed off the role to Olympia. I'm wondering what that handoff was like. Is it like a relief? Is it a bit strange or a bit of both?
I didn't get the question, but I guess this was about the handover between the two of us, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, I trusted Olympia from like the very beginning, since she got involved in working in the conference. And I believe that the two of us, having been there since the very first edition, has helped a lot in making the handover as smooth as it could have been. I stayed there as a junior advisor also last year, while Olympia was president. But apart from this, there were very few things for which Olympia actually needed my help. And I'd say that this is the best argument we have to demonstrate the handover was fully successful. We are seeing, and Olympia is going to elaborate more on this, how this is developing for this year edition, where we have leading the conference people that mostly weren't there since the first one. But I'm very confident that this is going to work out as well. And because I really trust the sort of culture we have created and tried to embed in the organization and, let's say, community we are establishing slowly, that revolves around the conference, both from like the organizational side, the tech side, and also around what's the final product. So the event the students come to.
Amazing. And now about handover feeling for you, Olympia. Were you nervous or anything, becoming the next president? I like that.
Me or Giacomo, sorry?
You, when that
Me.
one handed over.
I was kind of nervous, to be honest, because it's a new thing, and I've been there from the beginning, and I've seen him do it as well. So theoretically, I knew I would have been fine, but you never actually know. Also because every edition has its own challenges. So you kind of have to sometimes find a path for yourself. Sometimes you have to find a new way or, a new solution. So my problem solving skills definitely improved during these years. And I always knew that Giacomo was there to support me. So even though I was the president, the responsibility was mine. I knew that he was there. I knew he was there to help, and we become very good friends in these years. So I knew that he would have been there for everything I would have needed. So, and I'm very happy to have met him through this. I don't think our paths would have met if not for ICOCIMS. So I'm very happy about that.
Fantastic. And you clearly were a very good leader because the conference was very successful again. I'm sure about again this year. Now, I consider brings in students from around Europe, around the world even, or different backgrounds that deal with different levels of education. What is this about ICOCIMS that makes a room like that actually feel like a community and not just a conference?
I believe that our key asset in this has always been it being a student-led project aimed at students, and in particular at favoring connections between students first, but also between students and professors, potential mentors, etc. So having a room full of students, different from what happens at many other conferences, not of course speaking of student conferences, but I mean proper full-fledged conferences such as the ones from scientific societies, where there are a lot of established practitioners, established researchers, which could make the students feel a bit uneased. Well, I believe that it being a student-led project and having all the students in their room really helps in this, in creating an accessible and stimulating environment for everyone.
Incredibly, I love that it feels like that because that's how a concept should be. It look more like a community than just a group of people living together and so on. With stuff and people with that, but then there's another connection after it. I think there has to be more emphasis put on making the concept feel like what you're making and I thought. And Olympia, what do you have to add to that?
I totally agree with Giacomo. I think that the fact that it's student-led plays a big part in it. And also I think creating a good team is key in creating the right energy in the room. Because our team members are also involved, so excited and passionate about ICOCIMS, and no one has to do it. No, we know that it's totally voluntarily, and we chose to do it, and we all really care. So when you show to the participants who have only been there for 3 days how much this project means for you, and you've worked on it for a whole year, I feel like that shines through. Like that energy, they can feel it. They know that there is something more, and that we've built this with our own hands, and we care about it deeply. So I feel like creating a good team is also what creates that energy.
Incredible. Do you think you improved on that in 2023 with having content?
I think, yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
Not just because also because we've grown ourselves. So I think first because we realize what the conference needs and what being a good team member is like. because before being a leader of any kind, you need to be a team member. And when you're a leader, you're still a team member. You need to remember that you're working with others and that you need to create a good balance, and you need to build trust. So I think it started from our growth and obviously recognizing the need of the conference. So realizing who was going to fill that gap and who actually wanted to be in it because they were passionate about it. I don't know if Giacomo has anything to add.
No, I fully agree with you, Olympia, in this perspective in what led the growth of our community and development of a sense of belonging to the conference.
Maybe. I mean, that's I think what's so beautiful coming out like this, because you gain experience by writing with congressmen, and every year you try to improve some aspect of it and get better and better. So I know the 2025 edition was great to literally decided, and I can imagine it's a ridiculous movement to decide it will be better. So, and yeah, as you said, when it deep down, like you have, become more serious person with it. And then maybe have more wisdom, and that itself is a big thing because it can help improve the confidence, because after all, you're one of the leaders of the country. So, yeah, it starts with you. Now, you both came to San Francisco now in December and talked to a virtual room, so young students from around the world, a lot of them still figuring out what they needed what to do inside. What do you remember about that and the experience? What was it like being in that virtual room, talking with these younger students who are trying to become the next big scientist?
Well, from my side, what really captured me to the fact that I remember it to this day was the enthusiasm and excitement from all the young people that were there, especially like the youngest, such as the high school students. I believe I will remember forever the couple high school students that asked us about ICOCIMS and whether there were both opportunities for participation into the conference as high school students, or either opportunities to do scientific research as students, and how they could have managed to get any of these two. I'd say that this sort of resembles the spirits there are in our rooms when we have the ICOCIMS.
I love that. Yeah, that experience. And Olympia, how was it for you?
I agree with Giacomo, and it was such a wonderful experience. It was very very interesting for us, and also very interesting to see how people were enthusiastic about the project and how curious they were. And we got so many questions that we didn't expect. So I feel like you've managed to build a very great initiative. And, you never know what will resonate with others. So being able to share our experience and our ideas in such a way with people from all over the world that we would have never connected with if it weren't for STEMQuest was great. So good job, because it was a very good experience. Yes.
Definitely, you do. Makes my day. And it's great because I took it with also a programming initiative, so it's a very relevant organization to share with our members and with people who join our programs like STEMQuest. And I'm so glad to see that there was so much interest into the outreach. That's great. Now, tell us about the goal for ICOCIMS, the very big goal that the organization has and the people I do for in the organization have. It aims to be the top biomedical student conference in Italy and one of the biggest in Europe. And that's not a small thing to say out loud. I mean, it's very ambitious, an incredible goal that this organization has. Where does that confidence come from?
Well, we had this goal since the inception of the project. When we started, we had an hybrid event. The scale was definitely smaller than the one we reached today. But I believe that we are firmly on this path and that we will eventually achieve this goal because of two reasons. First, the fact that we sort of filled into a gap. In Italy, there weren't any other things like us. There is, and there was another conference, but their event mainly caters to domestic participants, while we of course must acknowledge that they are expanding their international participation year by year. And we also I also think that our project is sort of destined to grow even more because as a junior advisor, looking into the project going on, the people working to this day, I see that the, let's say, foolishness has never left us. It was, of course, a bit foolish to believe we are gonna conquer not conquer, but we're gonna become a major player into the student conference scenario in Europe. It of course was a bit foolish to believe this even before we had our first edition. And seeing that this spirit hasn't left the organizers to this day and is shared even among people that weren't there from the beginning, really makes me think we and the people that are there now and will be there will somehow achieve this.
Yeah, I mean, the goal that you got a big goal and you've achieved so much already with 2023. So I go to them becoming the biggest biomedical conference of Europe for sure. And Olympia, your thoughts on that?
Where does our confidence come from? I've not felt confident all the time, to be honest. I felt confident very little, like among all the months that we worked, actually all the years from the first edition. Confidence wasn't the main feeling at all. But I had hope. So, I had hope and I knew we wanted this to work and we were trying our best. So what I would say is you just start, not really knowing where this is going to lead or what you're going to have to do, and not knowing exactly what your role is or how to do even the smallest things that now come very easily to us. You start and you figure it out along the way. So now I'm definitely more confident, but it's been a big lesson because confidence is important, but it's not always the main thing, You need to put in the work and you need to want it. So, yeah, that would be my answer.
Of course, confidence without a light is not good. And you truly have to put in the hard work to make this content the success that it is. So that itself is an incredible story and why it still works sharing it on campus. Now, tell us about the new organizational structure for ICOCIMS and what will become for basically the mission of the conference.
I didn't really understand the second part of the question. Sorry. If you could
It's
repeat.
about the organizational structure, the new organizational structure, and things that will change for this year.
So this year, we're trying something new because we wanted to make the organization more horizontal, let's say. So we will not have a president in ICOCIMS 2026, but all the committees that work at the Congress, there is a committee for each area. All the committees will work together with the heads of the committees having the same decisional power. This is going to be very interesting to see, and I truly believe that we've built a great team to do it. But one of the biggest challenges is that everyone has the whole responsibility over their area. There is no president role to, making them accountable. They need to make sure that they're hitting the goals and objectives at the right time without someone kind of reminding them, Obviously, I'm still in ICOCIMS. I'm a junior advisor this year. Giacomo is always around. So we're there to help them, and we will always be there if they need anything. But I feel like they are really working hard. And it is an adjustment. It is a big adjustment for new members, for old members getting new roles, and also for us because, it's new. So you kind of get scared and you don't really know it's going to go, but I fully trust the new team. And I can't wait to see what they'll bring to ICOCIMS 2026.
I'm excited to see it. Giacomo, do you have thoughts on that?
Well, we are seeing this unfolding in these weeks, in these days. I believe this is a great experiment, and I'm really excited for how it will work out. And the fact that it is sort of something unprecedented, I believe that no other student conference has ever tried this sort of approach. So yeah, I find this both very exciting and interesting. And from what I'm seeing, I'm confident, but as Olympia said, you're never fully confident. It's in some moments is more about being overconfident than being confident. But I am confident, not overconfident, that this is going to produce some great results for this year's edition.
Well, I'm confident that this dividend is going to go very well. So, Giacomo, Olympia, before ending this episode, one more question. So, someone is listening to this right now. They are inspired. They want to build something like ICOCIMS to get involved in the kind of work that you're doing, but they have no idea where to start. What do you tell that person? Give it work on it.
So I believe that you have to start with an idea, no matter how abstract it may sound. Our idea was to change the paradigm. Of course, this is maybe something we will have a small impact on in a lot of time. The paradigm we wanted to change was, of course, this very few students getting involved in research in Italy. But from this bigger idea, from this concept, we came to, okay, but what can we do as students to even just try tackle this issue? And we thought, well, let's try to stimulate student participation in research through a conference that gives our fellow colleagues opportunity to learn about what their peers, our peers, other students around the world are doing. So I believe that this really starts with having an idea of something you would like to change.
Beautiful. And Olympia.
I agree with Giacomo. An idea is definitely the first step. And I would say also be excited. Be excited about your idea. Be excited about the path ahead, because it's going to get hard and it's going to be long and tiring. And someday you're going to wake up and be like, today I would really like to go to the beach and relax. And yet you will still show up because you are excited about your project and you believe in it. So my main advice is that everything else you can figure out, but you need to love it.
Amazing. I hope anyone who's hearing this will want to start something like ICOCIMS, take the advice to heart on things you learn in advice for the end. I don't. Now, before fully wrapping up, and why would you still? I know it's almost 9 p.m. now in Italy. I have a series of calls that I want you to tell us. You can choose one. Tell us about that. The two of you can choose different things. So one is one thing that you wish someone had told you at the very developmental school, a book, a podcast, or a documentary, or anything like that in media that has changed the way you think. The most underrated city in Italy, and Parma got an option because we buy it. And finally, if ICOCIMS had a city value, what would it be? You have to answer.
You want to go first, Giacomo?
No, I didn't really understand the first part of the question, actually.
The first part?
Could you repeat it, please? Yeah, could you repeat it, please?
Yeah. So if you can choose any of these prompts that I mentioned. Do you get the prompt that I said? Or shall I repeat it?
Yes.
Yeah, please repeat
Because
it
I
all
feel
over.
like
I
you missed
didn't hear
one.
you that well, so.
Okay, sure. So the first one is one thing you wish someone had told you at a very sort of medical school. And then the second is a book and a podcast about an area that I think media that has shaped the way you think. The third is, in your opinion, what's most underrated in Italy and Parma is not an option to buy it. And finally, if I could have had a huge value, what would you?
I can go first. You want to think about it, Giacomo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to talk about the most underrated city in Italy, because I have a very good answer to that, since the university where both Giacomo and I study is divided into two branches. The medical school is divided into two branches: the Italian taught program in Parma and the English taught program in Piacenza, where I study. So I would say Piacenza is the most underrated city in Italy. It's around 40 minutes from Parma by train. It's close to Milan, so like an hour from Milan. It's very small. Like, it's a typical Italian city, kind of in the middle north, let's say. And it's you've seen it all in 2 hours. 2 hours, you walk around, you're done. There's nothing more. But it's a city that you learn to love. Because when I got here, I didn't like it at all. I actually hated it. But then you stick it out, and you stay here, and you create your community, and you make friends, and you find that coffee place that you really like. So I think it's underrated, and I feel like it kind of shows you that you can make great experiences anywhere, and that you never know how it's gonna go. Because I didn't think I would love it, and now I am very sad that in about 1-2 years I will have to leave it. So everyone, come to Piacenza.
For sure. I'll add Piacenza as my living. I thought it was good to me. Giacomo, you?
Oh, Could you? I'm sorry to ask you for the third time, but could you type down like the prompt, because I didn't get the others one to also this time.
I can
so
help
maybe
out
if you
want.
if you can type that down or anything, so we can.
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry for this.
No worries. This is a chat. But
I can help out if you want, because I feel like I got
okay, I
all of
can
them.
just
Maybe.
copy and paste that one.
You're writing it down? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe it's
Great. Perfect.
okay. Oh.
neither any of that.
Yeah. Well, the last one is very funny, but I don't have an answer for that one, unfortunately.
It can be a song in Italian, or it doesn't matter, but you can do other songs too.
Yeah, sure. So I believe that something I would have liked to know about um about medical school before I started is how many opportunities there are for medical students. And this is one of the reasons why in these years, apart from the ICOCIMS, I am trying to um, uh, let's say be that sort of person for younger students. And this basically takes form in events such as this podcast or EU STEM initiative, also STEM Quest in particular, but also in other smaller scale things, such as, for example, speaking with the freshmen at our university. I was invited as a student representative to have a small speech during the inaugural lecture of our freshman this year. And I based that one on all the opportunities that you can have and that you should explore as a medical student from the earlier years to the later years. I believe that people getting into medical school in Italy and in Europe more in general are a bit more naive compared to their US counterpart. In the US, you get to medical school after 4 years of college. So, of course, you are a bit more prepared to whatever waits for you in medical schools, either in research or volunteering or anything like that. And I believe this helps you to choose and get the most out of any opportunity that may you may encounter. But something which is the most important part is even finding the opportunities in the first place. So something that I'm really spending not a lot, but energy on is letting younger students know about the wealth of opportunities that there are out there for students ranging from the first up to the sixth year to be enjoyed and to which anyone can apply for.
And he's doing a great job at it, if I may add.
Thank you.
I can just do. Amazing. Thank you for answering two of those prompts, Olympia and Giacomo. Thank you for getting your thought. Olympia was the most underrated city in Italy, and Giacomo on what you do, and I could feel like that's very good advice because I was watching this at medical school and learned from someone who was in medicine and was that experience and has learned a lot in the past few years about not just the academic aspects and also other things that you wish you had known, before going to medical school. But those who haven't gone to medical school yet or want to will know for the answer. Thank you so much. Wow, that was an amazing episode, to be honest. I really enjoyed having both of you again, Giacomo, as part of the first podcast episode of Content YSI with two guests. That was really fun. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for what you're building. And thank you for really being part of the YSI family. I can say, than that's part of what being on our podcast. The two of you are like a dynamic duo. It's really fun to have you super out of it. Podcast. I hopefully have you in the next 10 course and other programs. So I'm really excited to see where I could fit into next. And you'll be watching YSI. And to everyone listening, links to ICOCIMS will be in the episode description. So check them out. Although if you're a student in the biomedical space, you're looking into getting involved, this is the time to be worth being part of. And if you have the opportunity to go to Italy, to Parma, to the next ICOCIMS conference, take it for sure. That's it for today's episode of the Content of YSI, and we'll see you next time. Olympia and Giacomo, have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. Inali.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Ciao.
Ciao.